to the Sports Mom Playbook.
Welcome to the Sports Mom Playbook, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes with real moms and industry experts for all things sports to help you start or make more use of your time on and off the field.
Get ready for this binge-worthy podcast with some special guest appearances. Laugh along and join us in what we love doing, celebrating the true MVPs of the game, moms.
Let's do this.
Hello, and welcome back to the Sports Mom Playbook. I am Rachel.
And I'm Yuritsa.
And today we have a very interesting topic. One that I'm passionate about. Snacks.
Snacks. Team snacks.
Team snacks. I think I'm alone in my opinion on this. So I'm just going to start.
I'm very curious.
Start on this one. I think snacks are just out of control. Like the snacks at sports, they're out of control. Like it's.
So what were you used to like growing up when you played sports?
Okay, like when I played soccer and field hockey, there was one mom. And my mom brought like her own stuff, but there was another mom that always just had orange slices, and she just, she like cut them up so they were like ready to eat, and that's what you ate in between games.
So that was it.
That was it, and water.
Okay, of course.
Like you hydrated.
Yeah, of course.
And that was it. Now I just feel
Fast forward to 2024.
Now I just feel like it's out of control. It's like become a goodie bag, not a snack.
A birthday party.
Right. It's like, and the contents inside, yes, it's cute, right? Like they get bracelets sometimes, necklaces. But then I feel like, the whole purpose is for it to be a snack that you're eating, right? In between.
Yeah. Or after the game.
Okay, or after.
Because I feel like with rec, it's more after the game. The kids have like their end of game celebration, and that's when the party busts out.
Right, which is fine. But then I would say 75% of the snacks that are in those goodie bags, my kid either doesn't eat, it gets like thrown in the trash. I'm just being honest.
The snack or the toys that come in the bag?
Both, like the snack, the toys, and then there's candy on top of it. And some of it is like what's the candy that comes in like the pack, and it's all sugar, and it has like a stick, and you like
the Sun Dip?
Yes.
I used to love those as a kid.
I know, but it's like pure sugar.
It is really bad.
So like now my kids are going to be shot out of a cannon,
Yeah. My favorite's when they give you cupcakes and it's blue freaking frosting, and then my kid's like covered in it with like blue teeth, and I'm like,
right.
Dude.
But then you're like the asshole parent if you're like, no, you can't, I don't want you to eat that.
Yeah.
And it's always when they have their white pants on.
Yeah.
Forget it. I'm over
Bust
it.
out with the half sheet cake. You know who you are. I think snacks are valuable, but I just think that we need to have a conversation because it's out of control. Okay. So if you were to bring snacks, like what would you bring?
First of all, I think everyone should be responsible for their own snacks.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Are you thinking rec or are you thinking travel? Because there's two different scenarios and two different
right.
time frames that these kids are at the fields, right? So with the rec, you're there for like what, an hour and a half? And then boom. Is it
also mean? Because to me, when I think of rec, I'm like, okay, T-ball age, yeah, give them a snack after a game. It's a lot for them to be out there. But then I'm like, I think you should graduate in rec.
I don't know. My kid's old and he's like, I want all the snacks.
My kids obviously want all the snacks, but I just think as a parent, there's so many things to do with sports and in your day that, some of them have like they come in backpacks. You know what I'm talking about? Like they're in like the string backpack.
They're
and I'm
cute,
like,
though. They're branded though. They bust out the cricket and they put personalized little names and numbers on them.
God bless them. I don't want to do that. I
think the expectation's so high though. Like once one parent does it, you're like, dang it, I can't just bring like a pack of apple juices and like granola bars. You have to like bust out as well. Right. I remember when we first played with rec, we went over the top. We literally bought like kids meals from Chick-fil-A for all 10 kids. Yes, I know.
Okay, that's not a snack.
We're
that's
extra.
a meal.
That's like a straight up like, here's a kid's meal. I think we've done like Publix sub trays with drinks and cookies from Publix. That's
like your last season game or
no,
like just a rando game?
The day that we're selected for
Stop.
I'm that mom. I don't do goodie bags though. I don't do goodie bags, but I always would feed them because it also depends on the time of the day that the game was over. Right. I knew that the kiddos are going to be hungry. They're there an hour before prep and then, or for prep, or I guess to warm up. And then they have their game. And then obviously it's time to like eat and they're like starving at that point.
Right.
But I was that parent that like did a little extra. But that's just who I am, I guess.
I mean, and that's great if that's what you want to do. But I think other parents then see that.
And then it's like, crap, what do I do?
And then they're like, oh my gosh, like sports are so expensive. And now I have to like get to that level, right? And then so that's where I feel like with rec, okay? Like I'd be like, all right, T-ballers, they're young. You know, like some of they're 5, right?
Or younger.
So like,
they're like 3, 4.
Yeah. Are they younger? They start at 3?
Yeah. 4. 4, I think now is the age.
So I'm like, okay, I can understand that, right? But then I just think you need to kind of like graduate. Travel, I feel differently about it because they have multiple games in a day.
And sometimes, yes. And sometimes like, there's a break in between.
And there's a
like,
big break.
They're hungry and they're like tired.
Right. And it's a lot to be like, okay, everyone, let's meet at this restaurant and then come back and then do this. That's like the worst
thing you can do though.
Right. So I understand the value of snacks during a travel ball game, especially when they're playing 2 to 3 games. Like I get that. But I don't know. I feel like it gets crazy. And then you have people that, you know, they have dietary restrictions.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Then they have siblings that are younger, 9 times out of 10.
The siblings,
and then you like feel bad. So
I would have to add a buffer of like 5 extra bags or 5 extra snacks because you know someone's going to be like, the kids are not even playing or like watching what you're pulling out of your bag.
Listen, they could be like in all the way out in the parking lot. And as soon as they see the snacks, they're like there.
Yeah.
So then I feel bad. And I would have like another bag of stuff for like the siblings. Right. As extras. I feel like it's a domino effect. And then next thing you know, you're like at Sam's Club spending $100 on like mini Gatorades. And so I just feel like it needs to be a conversation. So like we need to ask our moms, are you for the snacks? Are you against the snacks?
What kind of snacks?
Right.
All of the things. So for travel ball, going back to your point, I know that you mentioned like if there's a big gap, then you guys go out, some teams go out to eat and stuff like that. My husband, as one of the coaches for my daughter's softball team, he hates that. Right. He's like, do not overfeed them. They're going to be so lethargic and so like, you know, in a food coma essentially right before a game. And I think we even experienced that with our boys the first time they played on a tournament. And we were like feeding them like, here's a sub, here's some chicken tenders, here's some, you know, it's just so much. And these kids are just like, this is great because they're hungry. But when they go back out and play, they're just like,
they're slow. Yeah.
Yeah. They can't get back into the game.
Right. And I agree with that. But I think you have to like know your kid. So like Grayson, for example, is like that.
Yeah.
And he can eat. No matter, like, he could have like just eaten. And then,
he's like, Mom, I'm hungry.
He'll see popcorn chicken and he'll be like, oh, I'll have some. And I'm like, what? You just ate? Like,
how are you still hungry?
Right. So I always have to tell him, don't eat with your eyes. Like, if you're hungry, eat. That's fine.
Yeah.
But just because it's there doesn't mean you need to have it, you know? So for me, I have to watch him. But I like giving him fruit in between games.
Same, yeah.
Because, especially watermelon, like it's so refreshing. Obviously, there's like
it's hydrating.
It's hydrating. He likes cantaloupe, so I like all of that. He likes clementines too, and I like that because they're just
small.
They're small, but they're also
throw them
in a bag. Yeah, easy. He is hit or miss on the granola bars. It just depends. Like I feel like sometimes if it's so hot out, it's just like chalky. So he's hit or miss on those. I will pack a protein shake.
Really?
Just like a chocolate protein shake.
Like a pre-shaken one?
A pre-shaken one. You know, like you got
the ones you just pull in a cooler.
Put in a cooler, you just like shake it up. I'll give him some of that just so he has some
substance,
like nutrients. And I mean, I think he's fine then in between that. Now, when he gets home, he will
give me food.
He'll eat everything.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But that in between, when he's like bending over, like catching, I just feel like he's like, my stomach hurts.
Yeah,
like,
we can imagine.
Yeah, you ate all of that.
All that food. I know Ari's the same way. When she has tournaments, she'll do just like a small turkey sandwich and like some apple slices is really like her go-to snack.
Oh, I like the apple slices.
And we actually bought like the apple slice cutter thing. So we'll just bring like a full apple and then freshly slice them there. And that she seems to love that. She also likes a little cheese stick, like the Colby Jack cheese.
Oh, yeah.
String
good
thing.
idea.
She likes that.
I like that you cut it there, though, because sometimes when I cut it at home, because like obviously I don't want to bring like a knife on the field. But like when I cut it at home, it then gets brown.
Yeah,
and gross. Then somebody was like, "Oh, you're supposed to
put lemon juice on it."
Lemon juice, or was it pineapple
That's just
juice?
Too much work.
I don't know. It was
just
disgusting.
Throw an apple, throw a cutter, and call it a day.
Yeah, I like that.
Especially when you have to leave at like 6 a.m. to be traveling.
Yeah, I like that. I might have to steal that idea for next time. But you know, even Grayson will eat an apple with some peanut butter.
Oh, that's a good one because it has a little bit of protein too.
Yeah, and you can go to Sam's Club. They have like the little containers of Jif or whatever already
done. You just
already done.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I feel like those snacks are like good. It keeps them kind of like in the game.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. And I know our families, they're super generous. Like they're always like, oh, well, what can I bring in? What can I do? And it's like,
oh, yeah.
It's hard because you don't want to be like, guys, don't go crazy on the snacks.
A small thing. Especially if there's a bigger gap, I can see where I'd rather give them like a Publix stub or like popcorn chicken versus concession stand food, which is like, right. I can't stomach that. I don't want my kids eating all that greasiness and all that. I mean, how long has that hot dog been sitting there? Like realistically. So that's one thing. Like concession food is like a no. And plus it's like super expensive. If I have to pay $8 for a Gatorade, I'm going to die.
It is really expensive on top of like, then you're paying the entrance fee.
That's a whole other thing.
So I like to pack my own, but do you have one of those Snackle boxes where it's like a box?
Yes.
I haven't jumped on the train.
I bought one. I haven't used it yet, but I bought one.
I haven't jumped on the train because I'm like.
What do you put in it?
Well, what I would put in it, it's going to be like the smallest. They're not big.
No, they're not big containers. I feel like M&Ms.
They're not big. It's like 4 almonds. Like,
yeah, no, they're not big.
They're not big. So, and then it's hot here. It's so hot here
in Florida. Yeah.
That even if I put like a trail mix that does have a couple M&Ms, I would have to keep the whole thing in the cooler. Right?
Yeah.
And then
it's not worth that.
Then I have to sit there and measure the box. Is it going to fit in my cooler? Some places don't even allow coolers.
That's why you got to just kind of put it in your bag bag.
I know, but then it gets so hot. I don't know.
It's true. No, but I do think that snacks have definitely gone overboard.
They've gone insane.
Something that was super simple, intended, like the soccer mom bringing in the clementine oranges and like bottles of water or whatever, has become like a full-blown fiesta.
It seriously is a fiesta. And I get it. Some people just have that in their nature. They want to share and they want to go all out, and maybe they can't do those things in a school setting, right?
That's true.
So like I can understand
birthday parties. There's some kids like we had my son's birthday was on a team with another little boy that shared the same birthday, and it ended up being the mom's day to do like the birthday snack thing for her child. So she actually incorporated both my son's name and her son's name on the cake, which is super sweet.
Yeah.
So that part, I mean, I understand if you're doing like a little mini birthday because you're not actually having a party. Mm-hmm. But when it's like every weekend and it's like just sugar on top of sugar, and I mean, it's a lot.
It's a lot, but it's every weekend, and then it's not just on Saturday for us. It's Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, and then I don't know.
Patrick had team players busting out with like McDonald's kids meals.
Stop.
Full blown. Just greasy food. And Patrick's like, these kids are not going to play well.
Yeah.
They're not going to play well. And I'm like, what are you going to do? Not tell the parent to feed their child?
Right.
That's a whole other thing too.
And that's when it gets hard. So that's why I wanted to talk about snacks and just kind of maybe put out some like healthy suggestions, because again, granola bars get kind of boring.
Yeah. Apple slices, I think, are always the win with peanut butter. I think that's a great addition.
Even if they have a little bit of caramel. You know, they have like those little caramel
dipper
things.
Yeah.
Just if your kid wants to have a little sweetness. Or like a little
Nutella, which doesn't really melt. It kind of comes already in a jar.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
My kids love Nutella literally on everything. So that's a great option.
I will also bring Uncrustables.
Oh, that's a good one.
I will pack an Uncrustable in the cooler.
And you like defrost?
They like defrost.
They're like frozen. Yeah.
They're frozen when you put them in, and by the time they go to eat them, they're ready to somewhat defrosted.
Yeah.
So like I'll give him that because it's just like a little something. Mm-hmm. But I don't do the candy. The candy, I just.
What do you mean? You don't want blue lips all over?
No, I'll never forget. That mom, like God bless her heart, she put the Fun Dip in there, and that's fine. Like I don't want to be like a mean parent and be like, oh, you can't have that when the whole team is like eating it. So we go into the car and I'm like, it's hot. Let's get in the car. And all you're doing is You're basically just like licking your saliva and then like scooping it out. It's just like
so
it's
gross.
So, so next thing I know, I hear him, my son, and Callie like fighting in the backseat. And she's like, let me have a lick. And I'm like, please don't share it. Like, I can't,
no.
right?
Yeah, that's gross.
So she, I guess, went to grab it.
And it went everywhere.
And it ripped. And it was like an explosion. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have ants in my car. And
that powder's so sticky.
And you don't even think, you're like, oh, it's just this pouch.
Yeah.
Like there's no.
No, it's like, it's a lot.
It was a lot. So then I'm an idiot. So I get home and I'm like, oh, I'll just get like a napkin. I wet like a paper towel.
Did it make it sticky?
Yes. It like activated the sugars. And I was like, so every time I see Fun Dip, I like have PTSD and I'm like, I want to cry because, and Keaton was like, why would you use water to clean? I'm like, I didn't even think about it. He was like, why would you not go to the car wash and get a vacuum?
Yeah.
Like, well, you know, that just I wasn't thinking. The heat got to my head. So then I had to literally, thank goodness I have the WeatherTech mats.
Yeah.
But I like made both my kids. I'm like, I'm taking out the mats. They loved it.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a punishment for them. Anytime they have to like clean my car, they're like thrilled.
Yeah.
And so I just got some like soap and scrub brushes and they're like, this is so fun. I'm like,
until
okay,
they get
great.
older, they'll be like, Mom, why did you make us do that?
Great. Perfect.
So, but yeah.
So anytime I see Fun Dip or like sugary stuff, it's
PTSD.
Oh my God. Like the baby bottles. Have you seen those that they like to give out?
They sell those all the time at the concession stand.
Yeah.
My kids always ask for them and I say no.
Yeah.
Like, no, not today.
How do you feel about like the fingery, like the Cheetos, the Takis?
You know, I feel like that's really hard because I know my kids love chips. Like they really do. Mainly my son Brayden, he like loves them. Mm-hmm. So for me, I just like tell him you have to wash your hands immediately before and after. And we have that soap that you actually got me on, that little paper soap.
Yeah,
that's, like,
it works.
It's super. I'm like, here, wash your hands here. You don't have to run all the way to the bathroom. So that part is, I mean, it's okay. But even that, I'm like, just take a couple. We'll save the rest for later. I prefer like Cheez-Its and Goldfish over something so like powdery and sticky. Mm-hmm. But I do think that overall snacks is something that, you know, we need to figure out if parents love it or not.
I'm just intrigued to see, and like maybe that's something we need to just do a poll. Like, do you love it? And like, do you think it's being taken too far, like me? Or am I just like the only one that's, I mean, it's great. The kids obviously like it, but it's just snowballed and it's become like it's just wild.
It's wild for sure.
And I can just see the coaches' faces. They're like, here come the snack. You know,
they
like
take a deep breath.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming. So, but yeah. Awesome. But yeah, we'll have to just figure out, we'll do a poll and find out if moms love it or not.
Let's do it.
But
well, anyway, thank you so much for letting me share my feelings and sex.
How do you feel? Do you feel better?
I feel better.
Yay!
I feel better. I'll feel better if I just have one person that's like, yes, I agree with you.
We'll have to do a poll after this for sure.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yes, thank you guys. And make sure you follow, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.